Hello, welcome to this series Stressed About Stressed, Getting Back to Basics. My name is Dr. Julie Denning. I'm a chartered health psychologist and CBT therapist at Working to Wellbeing. And today I'm going to talk to you about a tool as to how to help you manage stress. And that tool is to focus on your emotions. Now, what I want you to think on and reflect at this point in time is the last time you were stressed. Now that might be today, it might be right here, right now as you're listening to this. It might be earlier in the day, it might be yesterday, it might be a week ago. What I want you to do is just think about the last time that you felt stressed and just think about what was going on. What you might notice, for example, when you're feeling really stressed, is you might notice lots and lots of thoughts going through your mind. All about the situation, all about how you're going to resolve it perhaps, all about what happened, all about who was involved, lots and lots of different thoughts. And you might start to notice, for example, they are thoughts that are focused in the future. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if the other happens? You might notice it's in the past. Oh, crikey, why did I do that? I shouldn't have done it, and I did do it. Oh, and you're kind of ruminating over it. So you might notice your thinking when you're stressed. You might notice what's going on in your body. So, for example, you might notice lots of butterflies in your tummy. You might notice that you're finding it really hard to catch your breath and your breathing's getting quicker. You might notice your heart's racing. You might notice you're getting really, really tense and wound up. You might even get headaches. So you might notice what's going on physically for you. You might also notice behaviourally what you do. So you might start to notice you procrastinate, you put stuff off, you deliberate, you might just avoid entirely. So you might notice some behaviours. But what's quite interesting is what emotions you're noticing. And there's a tendency for us to kind of use big words, big emotional words like stressed, anxious, depressed, fed up. We use big words. And what I mean by big is they're kind of catch-all, and they're really helpful because they help us start to talk about our emotions. But they can also start to get a bit counterproductive. For example, when you're in a conversation with someone, you're saying, God, I feel really stressed. Oh yeah, so do I. So you're both identifying you feel stressed, but actually stress is a very individual thing. It's an individual response to a situation. And sometimes there can kind of be a bit of a misalignment as to what's going on if people are identifying around a singular word. So for example, when you're feeling really stressed, one person might be feeling really frustrated, another person might be feeling really, really fearful. Same word, but actually when you start to unpick it, there's something else going on. And that's what's really important here, is how we help you kind of get from those really big descriptors of emotion and just drill down a bit and understand what's happening at a more specific level. Okay, now you might not quite know what I mean, so what I want you to do now is just pause this video if you can, just hop over to Google and just to Google emotions wheel for me. And what you'll notice is it comes up with lots and lots of images. So go onto the images tab, you'll find loads of different emotions wheels. Try and find the most detailed one you can. They're usually really colourful, and they're usually like 6 pies in the middle and then kind of 2 outer rings. That's what you're looking for. If you want us to send you one, we can send you one after this. But just while we're here and now, have a look over at Google, find one you like. Now what I want you to do is just have a look at that wheel. You'll notice often those kind of 6 pieces of pie in the middle, and they might have big words like sad, happy, angry, that kind of thing. Then what I want you to do is to think about how you feel right here, right now, and to look around that wheel and to find words that best describe that emotional sensation you're experiencing right now. And just kind of reflect and try and find definitely more than 1 or 2 words. Really go around that wheel and see if you can identify more. Connect with it if you want a deeper level and write it down and write it out. But just notice what's happening. And I wonder that you might feel actually quite surprised at what you read, and that actually you might think, oh, hang on, I thought I was just stressed, but actually, if I'm thinking about the current situation I'm in, I'm really frustrated, I'm really angry, I'm getting really cross about this. Or you might be feeling really fearful and apprehensive and worried. And that might give you some information then about what to do next, because if you've kind of gone beyond that big word of stress and start to unpick it a bit more, you're in a different position then to be able to problem solve and think, okay, well, I thought I was distressed, but I'm actually really frustrated. And then you say, what am I really frustrated about? And you can find that you will then maybe choose a different pathway for a solution. And it might help you take a different resolution and a different outcome therefore. And it can really help you to build your self-awareness of how you're responding to situations, and it kind of give you that extra intel about yourself to know how you're going to handle certain situations, or even start to predict how you'll respond in future situations. But there's also another layer here that it can be really, really helpful when you've got a better understanding of what you're feeling, to then communicate it with other people and say, actually, I know I'm really stressed, but just to tell you a bit more, I'm actually really frightened about this, I'm really worried about it, or, you know, it's really frustrating me, this situation, what can we do about it? So it enables dialogue, it enables communication, and therefore enables better or more effective, perhaps, resolution. So next time you're feeling a bit under pressure and stressed, and you're not quite sure what the emotion is, but you feel something, you haven't quite got the words for it yet, go over to your emotions wheel, have a look, just take a pause, have a cup of tea, have a look, and just notice what you're feeling. And notice whether you feel surprised about what you're feeling. And then just take a time just to reflect and, you know, roll with the emotions you are experiencing. Because sometimes the more we try and push emotions away, the more they kind of come back into the fore, don't they? So it's a sense of which, let's just roll with those, let's notice them, let's explore them, and then find out what we can do next to help ourselves. Sometimes it's just a question of recognising and accepting. Other times actually we can do something about the situation. But having those extra words, those deeper words, deeper understanding, can really help you to move forward. What you also might notice as you're looking around your wheel, and it's quite important to point out that you can feel different things at the same time. It sounds a funny thing to say, but if you were to think about one scenario in your life, you might feel feeling a certain set of emotions, and then you flip to another part of your life and you feel a completely different set. So for example, you might be feeling really happy, calm and contented in your personal life, but you might actually be feeling really stressed and worried in your working life. So it's quite important to also understand that you can feel that range of emotions, and one set doesn't hide from the other, as in hide the other, you know? So it's important to recognise that you can experience all of those different sorts of emotions, and accepting that that is the case, and then kind of working out what you want to do next. So the next time you're feeling under pressure, feeling a bit stressed, go to this emotions wheel, see if you can unpick it a bit further, and see if by unpicking actually it unlocks a new way forward, and see if that helps. Good luck with it. Thank you for listening.